And we're back for another 10 Point Podcast weekly movie news, where we actually still have news 2 weeks in a row.
A record.
Unheard of. Speaking of unheard of, I actually went to the cinema as well. Which I'll start with a mild rant because people that listen to this podcast know I like to shit all over Cineworld.
Take the floor, Andy. Take the floor.
So obviously, I got rid of my Cineworld card, Phase 1. This is basically like the MCU here. Phase 1.
Right.
get rid of the Cineworld card. Phase 2 was I was going to go and watch what is it, The Woman King, but then I couldn't be arsed because there was a £1.50 booking fee, which really put me off. And then I was like, right, Black Adam, here we go. I want to go watch this. So I was like, I'll just wait to Meerkat Tuesday. So then I was like, Phase 3, motherfucker, it's half term. I was like, it's not as cheap as I thought it was, and I was like looking, because normally if you go before 5, it's like £6 a ticket or whatever. I was like $14.99. I was like, fuck's sake, that's ridiculous. Then I was like, oh, there's a screening at 5 o'clock, £8. I was like, I'll do it. It's like £4 each with the Meerkats. I was like, wait there, it's 3D. I was like, fuck it, 3D. We'll do 3D.
Remember when 3D was a thing?
Yeah, throwback.
So I was like, yeah, 3D will be no problem. So we get our book it. I paid the £1.50 booking fee begrudgingly. Only people in the cinema when I booked it about 4 days before I went.
Yeah.
Got there, and it was still dead. And then it was like the films start, like the trailers are just starting. It's like, there's nobody here. And also, this screen is huge. Like, it is mammoth. And I was like, why is it so big? And then trailers start. A few people come in. I was like, none of these cunts have 3D glasses. What's going on here? I was like, maybe it's not 3D. I was like, bonus if it's not, because I didn't really want to watch in 3D. Yeah. And then pull up the Cineworld listing on map, and I was like, they've changed everything, and it's now $16.99 a ticket, and it's not in 3D. And it's like super screen. I was like, oh, well, I'm here now. So I don't know what the hell happened, but I got it for like £4 a ticket and watched Black Adam.
Nice.
So
yeah,
that was my rant, and then it brings me swiftly on to what I watched this week.
Oh, by the way, before Andy carries on, for everyone who doesn't really know us, that's exactly the sort of thing that happens to Andy on like a weekly basis. Like he complains about everything else, but he does really luck out with like the 1 out of 100 things that happen to him.
He might get an Xbox for free.
Don't tell him.
Just for sheer, like, I don't know, spawny bastardness. And he fucking Xboxed his wedding we were joking about.
It's true. I did almost Xbox a wedding. But my other bit on Cineworld as well, like, I was like, where's my Cineworld 3D glasses? I don't want to pay £1.50 for another set. So I took my Kylo Ren ones. So I was all ready to be proper, like, Kylo Ren Stormtrooper ones. I was like, yes, here we go. But yeah, didn't need them.
Yeah.
And then Black Adam, here we go. Like, let's get on to some news and me reviewing Black Adam. I don't know if it's because the MCU is so utterly dog shit and in the gutters right now. Black Adam is amazing.
That good?
Like, I watched it, went in with zero expectations, and I say obviously the critics were all panning it, but then everybody else started giving it good reviews. I was like, can't be that good. Yeah, I came out and went, yep, that was a good film. Well done, Rock. Like a little clap. There we go. It's like, I won't spoil it. However, it's one of these films where they don't introduce anybody except from vaguely who Black Adam is and his story. Obviously, that's what the film's about. But they have a whole bunch of other people in which have zero background knowledge. And the only knowledge I have of them is previous comics and playing the Injustice games, which I was fine with. I knew that person. I knew who he was. I knew that person. I knew who she was. That's all I needed to know. I didn't need 25 films or 24 episodes at 3 minutes long to tell me their backstory. They just appeared on. I was like, right, this guy, I know who this cunt is. Sorted. Carry on. And it was just literally that, and it was just like bang, 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 action with the teeniest bit of story.
Yeah.
But it was enough story.
Right.
So that's
is it worth the 15-year wait that The Rock was going on about?
I would say you could tell it's a passion project, and it's a superhero film like that I wanted to see. Like it is basically, you know how everybody said, oh, Wanda's a bit dark and it's a bit spooky and it's a bit gory. Yeah, that shit all over. Like Black Adam went, here we go. Like the first 2 seconds when you see him, he basically rips an arm off with blood dripping out of it, then hits another guy on the head multiple times with it. That's where the level is, and it carries on throughout the film.
What I've heard about it, well, I've not seen it myself, but what I've heard about it is it's how much you enjoy Dwayne The Rock Johnson really is on the scale of how much you'll enjoy the film. Like, if you really like him, you'll really like his film because it's him in a film.
Yeah.
Like, it's him doing what he wants to do, being everything he wants to be, and being himself. Whereas if you're a bit iffy on him, you're not going to enjoy it all that much. Another thing I've heard about it is it's quite strange watching a film where the main character is just like the greatest, most powerful being that has ever existed, and nobody who's ever existed could even possibly level him power-wise. So therefore, he just squishes absolutely everybody he comes into contact with, is what I've heard.
Well, to be fair, no, it's nothing like that. Like, it is actually, it does balance. Like, obviously, humans are shit. Like,
Yeah.
but the other people they bring into it are very well balanced, and it. Like, at times you think, all right, yeah, this could work. All right, yeah. He's like, there's things happen all the way through this film where it's like, it's believable. And then it's got a mid-credit scene, which everybody's all jizzing all over.
Everyone already knows, yeah.
And yeah, it's all, like, it just works. And like I said, to be fair, the side characters and all that, like, were all brilliant as well. The only one was Hawkman, who, he's all right in it, but...
I heard that Hawkman just basically takes loss after loss after loss throughout the film. He's just an absolute jobber.
Pretty much. And it was like, I was watching, I was like, who the hell is this guy from? He reminds me of somebody. Then it's like, I know him from something. I was like, oh, he's the main dude from Leverage, which is the TV show I used to love.
Is it Aldous Hodge or something?
Yes.
Like that?
But could I hell play some until I had to literally get out of the film and go, I know you. It's like, where do I know you from? But 100% go watch it, which brings me to my non-recommendation. Andor's took a turn right now.
Oh, really?
It's
now
now
I've seen
turned.
a trailer for it.
It's now turned into Squid Games. So I don't know where they're going with it now, but yeah, it's like there's less walking now. There's no more. Don't move.
Now they're just
because it's Squid Games. So yeah, the last episode was pretty much boring as fuck, but it just had Squid Game vibes to me. So yeah.
Again, I've not started any of these shows that everyone's talking about, so I can't. I literally what I've watched this week was The Shining over and over again. Is what I've watched this week. So that's an advert for the regular podcast coming later on. But
so
yeah,
if that's all you've watched, then what have you watched, Chris? Because that's all I've watched.
Yeah, well, I watched all 3 car films because the wee man likes cars, and all you can say right now is cars. So I thought, fuck it, I'll put on Cars for him and see what he likes. And he broke a car fuse. Every time a car was on TV, car. I was like, oh my god, I regret this instantly. But he sat and watched it, and I put the other 2 on. But yeah, I wouldn't recommend it. Like, they get gradually worse.
They do.
The first one's all right, and the second one is just a...
I'll tell you a boring fact about Cars that blew my mind the other time I was watching it. Okay. So, the Italian car is voiced by Michael Schumacher, F1 famous racing driver.
Yes.
Well, if you watch that in Spain, it's voiced by Fernando Alonso, who is the world champion in F1 at that time.
He's Spanish, so
yes,
correct. Why isn't it a German being an Italian car?
Yeah, or a Spanish being Italian. That's really weird.
But yeah, genuinely, they changed that voice to just be Fernando Alonso, and it blew my mind because it is still the Italian car, but it's Michael Schumacher because it's Ferrari.
Better. I wonder who's worse out of the 2 acting. Like I bet one of them's really
Michael
bad.
Schumacher was alright.
Okay, I bet Alonso's bad then.
But Alonso wasn't with Ferrari at the time when that film was. He did go the year after, but yeah, he randomly voiced it for no apparent reason.
Maybe it was a hint that he was going to go there.
So yeah, there's a useless fact for you in Cars.
And other than that, I watched the season 1 finale of The House of Dragons. No spoilers. It was disappointing.
It was.
I heard that they had basically mortgaged the season for a new season. Is what they did with that one.
As soon as the previous episode was all like, I don't know, like cloak and dagger stuff like that. Let's get this person into power. I knew the second one was going to be another one like that. So you could tell they've just put all their eggs into season 2.
Yeah. I didn't hate it. It's just a bit slow, like everything Game of Thrones. You get hit or miss seasons, and I'm hoping season 2 is better. And
season 2 should just be nothing but constant fucking blood and fire for the next 10 episodes. So
yes,
sounds good. I'll start watching it then.
Well, apart from that, that's the 2. I'll say 2 things. The 4 things I watched.
I
And
didn't
you-
even. I watched one thing that wasn't The Shining related this week, and that was the second to last episode of the Wrexham documentary, where they were at the cup final, where they thought they'd equalise in the last minute, and still don't understand the offside rules, so all got confused and all that.
Fucking
But,
brilliant.
it was a good episode. Will Ferrell pretending to be like, I don't know, the guy who runs the suite for the whole episode was a bizarre turn that I didn't see coming. But no, it's a very enjoyable documentary. It's definitely really raised my interest in Wrexham. Like I look for the results when they're happening now. So,
Either they didn't play the other week or they got beat because I never got a text from Andy to say that they won.
they got beaten their league game, but I think they're still in the FA Cup games at the moment.
Whenever I see them, there's like a million goals in their games. So
Yeah.
there's certainly action down at Wrexham. So I don't know about quality.
But it's funny, Chantel doesn't want to know the results because she doesn't want to spoil her season 2.
yeah, exactly. Yeah.
doesn't want to see how it plays out.
But I imagine at some point over the weekend I'll watch the finale and then I'll get caught up to last May, whatever it was. This the actual season is finishing, which I already know what happens, but I haven't seen it yet. But that's me. That's all I've watched.
There you go. So yeah, it's been a slow week for us actually watching things. However, a busy week in the news world.
Yeah.
So since I ruined Chrissy's thunder last week, I shall only take the major news.
3 for 3 right off the bat. It was incredible.
So we have some rumors, which we don't normally do rumors and clickbait in this one. However, this one seems like it's pretty legit, which then leads into my main news. So Ben Affleck apparently has signed a 3-movie deal to finish off. He's going to do a Batman trilogy.
Oh right, okay, Batman.
His Batman.
What for?
So many Batman.
Yeah, I know.
So he's going to finish off his one, but one of those includes the appearance in Aquaman. So technically, it's 2 more movies of his Batman. So I don't know how they're going to do that. However, if one person could make this work, it's James Gunn. So the big news of the week is James Gunn is now heading up the DCU, which has now changed from the DC, whatever it was.
EU to just the DCU.
Yeah.
Did you have insider knowledge that James Gunn was going to be in the news this week, and that's why you picked Slither last week, Andy?
No, just I think the podcast once again raises people's awareness of James Gunn, and they're like, we should really get this right at the pinnacle. We should announce James Gunn being
his height of popularity.
Exactly.
Slither getting a rave review on the 10 Point Podcast.
Exactly.
It scored well, it didn't score badly.
It's going to be weird though, because he's like, what's going to happen to the Guardians? And obviously, he's going to finish these films, but then that's it.
It's done. They fell out over something, and then he finally got him back for 3 in the Christmas special. But yeah, that's all done and done. So
I thought he got like sacked because of his Twitter things. Is
that was it?
Yeah,
that was it.
He made a joke 10 years ago on Twitter, and then everybody got over it a month
Disney
later.
came down.
Yeah.
So yeah, ever since then he's gonna.
15 years ago should just be kept there. It doesn't matter what he does now.
Exactly.
Yeah.
As long as he's not like some horrible racist or.
Exactly.
But the rumors coming out of the DCU currently are that Pattinson's Batman will exist because that will be part of the extended universe, i.e. the multiverse. So that will have its own thing. And James Gunn will head up all these links and stuff like that, starting with the Joker. He'll be overseeing that. But then after Aquaman 2, there's going to be all the other stuff. And rumors are that he's not going to work with Schneider. So the Schneider cut things won't happen, but James Gunn will take over and do Suicide Squad and the Batmans and stuff like that. And obviously, the big announcement, part of this whole thing is Henry Cavill's back as Superman and is doing Man of Steel as well.
Which I think everybody always thought he would.
Yeah, exactly.
I don't think anyone thought that was actually done.
So DC seem like they're up and up, whereas Marvel don't seem like they're going anywhere.
At least Marvel have the kind of. I feel like Marvel sort of know what they're doing, and everything sort of matters to everything.
Exactly.
With DC, they're still picking up the pieces of. We've tried 100 things and 4 of them worked, and 3 of the 4 are totally unrelated to the others. So
what are we picked up stuff and just smashed it against the wall, and like random things have stuck. It just doesn't make sense.
So I don't know how they're going to tie the Suicide Squad to Robert Pattinson's Batman to Henry Cavill's Superman. So that's the starting point. And Joker, there you go. There's your 4. Like none of them are related. So I don't know how they're going to.
If James Gunn can do it, I believe. So that's what I've got there now. So I'm not going to steal Chris's thunder. I'll let Chris say some stuff. So if he doesn't say anything else, I'll spin back around.
And I've got news too.
Okay.
Ooh. The only 2 that I've kind of picked up on that I thought it'd be quite big news is a sequel to a film that I've never seen before is coming out. Good Burger 2 is happening.
Good Burger 2.
Years later.
Yep. Good Burger is an amazing film.
I've heard good things about it, but
Same.
that's where all the like memes of Keenan and Kel with the long
Yes.
hair come from. So I need to go back and watch it.
Speaking of Keenan and Kel, Coolio died recently, which made me very sad.
Yes.
Because he did the Keenan and Kel theme song, Gangsta's Paradise, end of list. But I still very much like and enjoy Coolio.
The pair of them, Keenan and Kel, shared a copy of the script onto their Instagrams, and apparently there's been a very successful table read, so it's in motion.
Exactly.
As
that's the
for
reason.
other returning cast, I don't really know who was on it. And
There wasn't many.
nobody's
It was just
confirmed
really
yet.
them.
So I'm looking forward to watching the first one and this one.
You should watch the first
When it
one.
eventually
Do it.
happens. And
Do it.
finally, this is right up Bruce's street.
Cool.
Zac Efron has beefed right up to play Kevin Von Erich.
What is the context? I've only seen the picture of him as Kevin Von Erich, and I'm like, what is the Kevin Von Erich story they're telling us?
It's the film's called The Iron Claw, and it's about the cursed family of the Von
Yeah.
Erichs. There's another 3 or 4 actors which I've never really heard of. They're
Because
playing all the brothers.
I'm assuming Zac Efron will be the biggest star in it, which is why we're seeing him. I think because he is like the only surviving Von Erich. Like I think
Yes.
best of my recollection is pretty much all the rest of the family were bigger stars than Kevin was, but he's the only one that
Yep.
managed to survive out of the 80s, I think. So
Yeah.
it's I can see why everyone's playing, but it's weird that he's basically this not particularly big time wrestler has got a big time actor playing it. But yeah, there's definitely a story there because
If
my
it's done
God.
right, I think it'll be really
Yeah.
good. So that's my news. My other one was the James Gunn taking over the DCU.
Okay.
So
Right.
you got 1 out of 3, maybe.
Okay. Right, Bruce, you go for yours before I steal your thunder as well.
Okay, well, I've got one small bit of news, one big bit of news. The small bit, Ant-Man 3 Quantumania looks incredible, and I'm excited about it.
Well, I was going to say that, like, that's definitely the sequel to Shark Boy Lava Girl, because it looks exactly the same. But I'm still excited because I did not hate Shark Boy and Lava Girl. It was pretty good.
Okay.
But yeah, that's very much where I'm with that. So
I've also not hated the Ant-Men. The first one was good, the second one was fine. I just felt like it was
Yeah.
a bit. They could have done better with it coming out when it did, which was in between the big Avengers movies. They could have done more with it. But this one looks good, and it also looks like it might finally be okay. We're kicking off
I know,
what is
exactly.
actually happening. This is important. It's important, people, and it's going to be good. And it also looks spectacular. And I'm thinking that could be my first trip to the IMAX with lasers that was advertised.
Oh,
to
gosh,
me.
imagine that. That's fucking everywhere.
So
Well,
I'm
did you
intrigued.
notice the small detail in the trailer as well with
Which
the
one?
rings? So basically, when you see like Kang City and all that, they're all on rings. Which, if you pause it just right, is exactly the same rings as the 10 rings, i.e., as in the bands,
Right.
and which is exactly the same as Miss Marvel's bracelet as well.
Okay.
So now everybody thinks that Kang's just been basically living in the 10 rings.
Right, I see. Okay. Okay, cool.
But,
So yeah,
it's,
it
it's the same writing around it. So
looks very exciting, and I'm actually like I've heard.
I'm looking forward to a Marvel film again.
Have I heard that Black Panther: Wakanda Forever is good? I can't remember if I've heard
yeah,
that.
there was something first review came out, and people were all over it.
Yeah. But I think it was
Uh,
always going to review well because of basically the subject matter of their main star died, and he was a
Yeah.
bit of an icon.
Yes.
So I think it was always going to be received well. But I think Ant-Man could be the best.
The only thing I would complain about the Ant-Man trailer is the famous award that we didn't even voice over the trailer.
I've got to say, no sign of old Michael Pena,
Nope.
but he might be the one.
Oh, right, yeah.
Our main star seem to have been stuck in the quantum realm, and that leaves one man free to try and get them out.
It does.
So we'll see. And I'm sticking with Marvel. I'm not that desperate for the Guardians of the Galaxy Christmas thing, but it does
Oh, shut your face.
looks funny enough. But I'm not like
I'm
dying.
loving the Christmas present.
Oh, yeah.
It's an intriguing Christmas present to get old Star Lord. Yeah, it'll be fine, I'm sure. But I'm more excited about Ant-Man. My other bit of news. This is big time though. This week I spotted just by luck was the 2022 Saturn Awards.
Yeah,
Was this week. So I thought I'd run through some winners because
go for it.
obviously
There's been
we're
a
talking
lot.
and they've changed their kind of criteria and some of their awards a wee bit. I think they're quite fluid, like we are with our awards. So I've got the main awards at the top here. So all the different kind of genres. So your best superhero film was Spider-Man: No Way Home, telling you how far back it goes, because I don't think they had awards maybe last year or the year before. I think they missed out one. Best science fiction film was Nope, which is something I would have tipped because I thought it was very good. It did beat Free Guy, unfortunately, Andy. It was one of the losing nominees for best science fiction film. Basically, Spider-Man beat every other MCU film. Basically, is what it beat for superhero. Best fantasy film, Everything Everywhere All at Once, which we said was good on here, which is good. Best horror film was The Black Phone, which I have heard is good. I feel like
I
Andy
watched that.
Yeah.
That's pretty good.
thought you'd mentioned that.
It's not scary though.
Yeah. It's just a thriller more than a horror, I would say. Best action adventure film, which I don't know if they've always had, but either way, Top Gun Maverick very deservedly won that, which I thought
That's the Star Wars sequel.
We had to have a bonus episode just to talk about how good Top Gun Maverick was. Best thriller, which is again new category, Nightmare Alley won that one. Again, I knew it was mentioned a lot around awards season, but I can't say I've seen it. They've now got Best Animated, which is won by Marcel the Shell with Shoes On, which is the brilliant name of a film. And then Best International Film is a film I actually forgot to mention. I've watched about the first half of it, but I think it's 4 hours long. It's called RRR. I think it's a Bollywood film, but it's not all singing and dancing. It's not like a full-on musical. But trust me, if you're ever bored and you wanted to spend half an hour to an hour watching some just like unbelievable action scenes in this film, like 3 capital R's, RRR, it's on Netflix, but it's hugely long to the point I might have got halfway through it at this point. But it's in chunks of just mad action. No idea what's going on. Obviously, it's subtitled, or I think it might even be dubbed if you wanted to be. But some bits in it are just spectacular, like unbelievable stuff. So I can see why it won Best International Film. And that's it for the films, as it were, the best categories. I won't run through absolutely everybody, but other winners are like Matt Reeves won for Best Director, Tom Cruise was Best Actor. I thought Ke Huy Quan for Everything All Everywhere All at Once, Best Supporting Actor was a good one because he was really, really good in that. But yeah, there's a whole bunch of awards. It's dozens and dozens of awards, and they do a bunch of TV ones. But I thought I'd run through the main category winners, since most of them are films I've at least mentioned, if not seen, in the last year. But the Saturn Awards coming through like they always do.
I reckon we should co-host Saturn Awards with them next year. We should put it in our papers.
Yeah, because never see the end of it.
Well, we do the early, we do the pre-show Saturn Awards because we'd be mongled before they even start. So is that the big news? Is in
that was the big that was a large chunk of the.
That's very good because you stole my last two. Because I was going to cover it off. That I left Chris an open goal with the Marvel trailers to see if he'd watched them.
I'd watched the Quantumania one.
And also
all the special. I'm looking forward to both of them. It's about time we had some decent Marvel films.
Exactly. Well, while you were talking through the Saturn Awards, I did have a quick sneaky peek about the Black Panther, and apparently it's the most powerful Marvel film ever. Is the main reviews coming out?
I bet.
Yeah.
I feel like the first half hour is probably going to be like a funeral for Chadwick Boseman, basically. So it could be tough to get through the first half hour, but I think it could be good after that.
It's going to be like Clerks 3 all over again.
It could be like the direction with the story is actually quite intriguing. So I'm looking forward to that part of it.
Right. So what else can we look forward to, Bruce? You may as well carry on talking.
Yeah, I'll keep going. So last week, top 5, I pretty much nailed it. The one other film, Mia and Me, that I picked at the animated film, did crack the top 20, but didn't make the top 5. The top 5 just shows how badly received Halloween Ends is because it sunk to number 5 already. Still behind Smile, so it's not even been the best horror movie of this Halloween Ends. Smile number 4. Lyle Crocodile, that sneaky family film out of nowhere that was number 1, is now number 3. But the 2 I picked, The Banshees of Inisherin was number 2, and Black Adam, as everyone thought it would be, will be number 1. It'll probably be the biggest earning movie until Black Panther comes out repeatedly. So that's what was last week. A couple of films coming out, but these are like long time American releases that are just now getting to the UK, I think. So the major release that I have heard a lot of good things about is a film called Barbarian. Now this might be the best horror film of this Halloween. From all I have heard, I can't speak for it personally. A horror film starring Georgina Campbell, Bill Skarsgård, and Justin Long. And I can't think the last time I saw Justin Long in something, so I'm excited to see him.
Clark C.
Yeah, that's what I was
saying that. Well, I've not seen that. So maybe he took a couple of years off.
Accent as well.
Yeah, okay.
That's the best accent ever.
So here's what I'll tell you about Barbarian. A young woman travels to Detroit for a job interview and arrives at her rental home, and presumably at an Airbnb, but they can't use the branding.
Not where I thought you were going. I thought it was like an old-time film.
And I've heard it's really, really good, but you have to avoid spoilers for it. You have to go in apparently not knowing what you're about to see, and that's the way to watch it. So that's it. Pretty much, it's a woman goes to her rental home, and then you won't believe what happened. Basically, is the film.
So basically, what you're saying is don't read Claudio Rio from Detroit.
Yeah, exactly.
Claudio, whatever you call him.
Yeah, don't read his
IMDb.
Yeah, he will tell you exactly what happens and fit the title in somewhere else. So Barbarian. I don't know why it's called Barbarian. It doesn't seem like it fits someone going
Yeah,
to
no. When you
Detroit.
said Detroit, I was like, that's not anywhere. I was like,
Exactly. So Barbarian, that's going to be allegedly that's the best horror film this October. And the other film coming out this week is a film called Bros. I think it's Bros. It's spelled like bros.
I've
like
seen that advertised everywhere.
Yeah, it's everywhere at the moment. Allegedly, the first rom-com from a major studio, Universal Studios, it is about two gay men in like a rom-com sort of setting. Written by and starring Billy Eichner, who I think is in The Lion King. He's one of the characters in The Lion King.
He's in Parks and Recreations for the last few seasons.
So he's in that. That's what he's famous for. And written and directed by Nicholas Stoller, who directed Forgetting Sarah Marshall and then the Bad Neighbours films, which we call them over here in the UK. They were just called the Neighbours films in America, but Bad Neighbours for us over here. So he's got success with comedy films produced by Judd Apatow, but I feel like they might just have slapped his name onto the advertising to get people to go and see it. But Bros, I literally can't find anything on my usual sources about what the storyline of the film is. They're pretty much just marketing it on it's the first gay rom-com. So there you go. That's what the story is about. And the trailer isn't far different from that either, from what I've seen.
Basically, it sounds like the American version of Banshee.
That's the opposite. They're falling out in Banshee.
That's a good point, yeah.
But they were bros.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, that's a prequel.
Maybe it is. That's how they got together. So there you go. Barbarian will be the big horror film. Bros will make the most money, probably, maybe not. But either way, Black Adam will be number one next week. Streaming, there is actually a new film on streaming that I found this week on Netflix, probably in German, because Daniel Brühl is the main star, and pretty much the other major cast are all German actors too. All Quiet on the Western Front. First World War. Basically, the story's existed for a long time because it's a famous play, I think. So, a German, I'm assuming, language film with Daniel Brühl in it. That's the big Netflix release. Can't find any.
Good avoid from Netflix there.
It could be one for you. Don't fall for the advertising. I think it's in German, Andy. Disney Plus, I don't think anything big that I've necessarily found. It's Amazon Prime and all that. I can't find anybody else with new films. In the future, though, Black Panther, we've mentioned it. Glass Onion is the other one I'm excited about. I want to see that, but don't go and see it in the cinemas. It will be on Netflix. And then, as I keep saying, Avatar 2 is going to save cinema in December. So
it's not saving cinema.
That's us for the rest of the year. Probably Ant-Man in January. He'll be the next big thing.
And then
we'll come back in December.
I was going to say we'll have to stop our news because there'll be no more news because there's nothing else coming out. So there you go. There's some stuff to watch. If you want to watch kids' films, watch Cars, and that will be the only thing your kid can say. He's loving it. Watch the last episode of Wrexham, like Bruce, because he's still not watched it.
I'll be watching it.
And go watch Black Adam because
smashing glasses.
And because everybody else is watching Black Adam, and Chris has got some cleaning up to do. So join us next week. Oh, actually, before that, if none of that tickles your fancy, go watch The Shining, and you can watch it on our main podcast. And Chris is going to go tidy up before we actually record the main podcast. So see you all next week.